Yosemite National Park. It's pretty insane. We're doing the Mirror Lake Trail, and we were here almost 3 years ago now, right before I was diagnosed.
It was actually an amazing experience to see him and touch the water again, because it was like he was washing away his fears.
Welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip.
If I had wings that I could trust, I'd gather all my might and leave the dust. It's the wind that takes me away, my love, the wind that takes me away. And maybe I'll see the bright blue skies, the grass-filled meadows, the leaves turn and dry, and so goes the hands of time. And so goes the hands of time. Face of everyday man.
We're here in Sequoia National Park, and we just took a look at the Sherman tree, or General Sherman. It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest tree in the world, and it just makes you feel so small. It dwarfs you. If you ever get up to Sequoia National Park, make sure you stop. It's a half-mile hike down there to the tree, but it's definitely worth it. You get the full view of how huge that thing is.
There's a devil in your stare. You don't need wings to fly. You don't need love to cry. You don't need a heart to realize. You need a soul to die. And oh, I can see you. There's a hurricane in your hair. There's an angel on your shoulders. There's a devil in your stare.
This is the Children's Hospital where 3 years ago, we came in an emergency, and Pete was sent to ICU and spent 3 days recovering, and I guess the 4th day of training. And then we took a picture in front of the sign when they finally released him. Okay? That was, there's a big smile on his face. What's it feel like to be back here 3 years later?
Good. It's good to be back in better health, obviously, but it's kind of cool being back in the same area.
At the tunnel view, one of the most iconic views of the Yosemite Valley, and with all the rains, the Yosemite Falls is just pouring over the edge. It's absolutely beautiful. But this spot is really meaningful for us because when we were here last 3 years ago, pre-diagnosis for Pete, we didn't know what was going on. He just was feeling horrible. We were actually going to climb the Yosemite Falls hike that morning, and he felt so tired and lethargic and sick that we didn't end up climbing. So we drove out of the valley on our way to the hospital, and we stopped here for a moment. And again, he didn't even get out of the car or out of the motorhome to look at that view. And so it's nice now, 3 years later, to be back. Pete's healthy and strong, and he can enjoy the spectacular Yosemite Valley.
So we're here in Yosemite National Park. It's pretty insane. We're doing the Meerick Lake Trail, and we were here almost 3 years ago now, right before I was diagnosed. This place is kind of special that way, is where everything started to happen really fast with my pre-diagnosis with type 1. And while I have been here before, this is technically my first time, because last time I don't really have any memory of the last time I was here, but it's gorgeous. It's amazing to be back, and I'm just excited to walk the same paths that we did before, but basically as a new person. So the Meerick Lake Trail isn't anything strenuous by any means, but at the time I was rapidly losing weight. I could only really see a few feet in front of me. I was cramping all the time. I constantly had to be drinking water. Had like an obsession with water when we were here. And a bunch of other things were going on, and it just made this hike extremely difficult for me to keep up with the family and stuff. But we're coming up to a waterfall, which at the time I was being obsessed with water. I wanted to go right into it. It was snowing here, it was cold already, and because of my blood being so thick, I didn't have much circulation, so I was already colder than normal. But I went right into it and filled up a life straw with water. But we're just gonna be redoing that just because it's cool to go back later on and see it. same waterfall, or I did, where I was filling up water last time. I don't really know how to explain it, but it was crazy. It was amazing to go into it again. Just get soaked by glacier water from Yosemite, but really just felt amazing. That's all I can really say. To be back 3 years later, healthy and different, and just kind of a new person.
So this is the spot. This is a hike to Meerick Lake in Yosemite, and it's really a significant spot for Pete, for sure, and for me and Mom and our whole family. So we made sure we came back here 3 years later. This was a really awful memory for him, and for 2 years he said, I never want to go back there. But he's brave enough now, 3 years later, to come back, go right to that waterfall, and this time drink some water without feeling so horrible. Now that he's got his type 1 diabetes under control, the water's actually helping him.
I think seeing Pete back here, it was, sorry, it was actually an amazing experience to see him and touch the water again, because it was like he was washing away his fears, and he has totally embraced it and accepted it. And we're so proud of him for doing that, because I mean the sky's the limit now, and I think he really is an amazing kid for coming back here and taking it on.
Mentally, emotionally, Pete's grasped it. He's learned how to control it. He has to live with it, but it's just such a, going forward, I was saying to Carol, it's almost like a baptism when he was standing there in the water, and just a very, very emotional but powerful moment.
We'll see you down the road.